Network's vision is to create an atmosphere in which people can not only receive, but also give back to others. I think we want to create an environment so that people can embrace the kind of change that they themselves recognize as growth and development for good. I came to Ohio University as a freshman and knew that there was something in my future, but didn't quite know what that was. My fourth year, I enrolled in a 2-year associate degree program called Mental Health Technology. And then my fifth year, I had to do an internship in that program in an agency. And I proposed to my professors that I would do an internship by creating an agency. My roommates and I just started taking people in who had no place to sleep, learned more through failure than through success, invented our rules as we went along. And then they graduated, and I went to the community and said, would you help us? It wasn't until the third year that we generated a $3,600 yearly budget, and about the fifth year, a $6,000 yearly budget. So we basically did this as volunteers. My wife and I both worked other jobs, and we ran the shelter as volunteers, but we ran on zeal and energy and creativity and ingenuity. And yeah, we had lots of risks and problems, but we were filled with joy and gratitude for the opportunity. We were, and probably still are, the only, probably the oldest, I should say, rural homeless shelter.
Well, I was homeless because I had difficulties with my family, and so then I didn't have any place to stay, and I didn't stay in Cleveland. I didn't want to stay in Cleveland, so I walked down here. It's very much a home environment, and you do feel that right away when you come in. The residents share with one another, and they try to help one another out. But also, the staff is very encouraging, and they have meetings and things with you to try to assess, for one thing, how did you become homeless? And then after that, what kind of things, what are your goals? What things do you want to work towards? And then they have people to help you to work towards those goals.
They took me in when I didn't have any money or anything, any place to go, no family, and kind of became my family. When I came in, I was kind of nervous, didn't know what to do, and we were sitting in the living room. We just so happened to get there just before dinner, and I was sitting in the living room thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do, don't know what I'm going to do, don't know what's happening, And someone just stuck their head through the living room door and said, come on, let's go eat dinner. It was like an icebreaker. It's like, I had gone from feeling like totally isolated and to included and part of, them with having a meal, with eating with them. My kids and I were there at the shelter for 93 days. It, again, cliche, builds character. But it really does, especially if you go into poverty and then come out of it. You can really learn from it, see ways to, it makes you manage your money better and be frugal and more grateful for what you have. Definitely more grateful.
I've gone to visit different shelters and lived on the streets of these 9 different cities, primarily because I want to understand how to have my compassion replenished and my perspective renewed and reinformed of what it's like to be in the situation of loss. And it's not just the loss of a place to stay, it's the loss of a network of friends, it's the loss of a sense of dignity. It's the confrontation of fear and uncertainty, and has really renewed my understanding and fortified my commitment to persevere in believing in people even when they cannot believe in themselves, and hoping in people and hoping for people when they've lost hope in themselves. And I believe that's part of our role, is to believe people back to life. We created the Fast from Shelter in 1990 to create a way for people to attempt to learn about what it feels like to be on the other side. And so we started on Court Street, where we did that on Good Friday for years, 15 years to be exact. At one point, students would come out drunk, yell at us, tell us to get jobs. It was an experience that awakened us towards what it feels like, even for just a night, to be without a place, a safe place to stay. Now, none of us were really homeless. We knew that. But it was kind of an introduction into the experience.
Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters to dwell together in unity. All the believers were one in heart and mind. No one claimed that any of his possessions was his own.